You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Just a kid from the neighborhood. We're all kids from a neighborhood. Take me back to 96. I fall asleep with the radio on. Follow me like a firefly. At midnight in mid-July. Mixing blood and sweat and tears of joy. That's what I call the rally cry. Relentless, like a dog on a bone.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Dog Pound Podcast right here on the Armchair GM's Sports Network, your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans, for sports fans, delivered to you right here in the Niagara region. Follow the podcast on Twitter at Dog Pound Podcast. You can follow the network on Twitter as well at Armchair GM Pod. Also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/armchairgms network. You can listen live on the Spreaker app or at Spreaker.com/thearmchairgms, or listen to us on demand on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, and Podcast Addict. Wherever is easier and convenient for you to listen to us, we are available on demand for you. I am your host, as always, of the Dog Pound Podcast, and I'm not joined by my co-host today, or my other host of the podcast, Brandon. He was unavailable to make the podcast today, so I'm doing it solo and doing it offline as well. I couldn't figure out how to get the live stuff going. That's okay. I'll get this done offline for us. But guys, welcome to the October 25th edition of the Dog Pound Podcast. It's going to be a good episode this week. We have a lot to catch up on. 3 games to catch up on before tonight's game against the Hamilton Bulldogs. The Ice Dogs are back home tonight. So we're going to cover the Erie Otters game that myself and Brandon went to last week. And the Ice Dogs were on the road against the Mississauga Steelheads, and then back home against the Guelph Storm, which I was unable to attend that game, but I did watch some of the highlights for that too, so we can briefly talk about that. We have a little bit of Ice Dog news, and then we're going to jump into a couple of commercial breaks, and we're going to preview tonight's game against the Hamilton Bulldogs, which is the Halloween game for you fans out there. And then also we have our ending segment where the Ice Dogs are now just catching up with previous Ice Dog members that are in the NHL. So bear with me as I do this solo. I know it's tough. A lot of people who know about podcasting out there, it's very tough to do podcast solo. So bear with me as I try to get this done for you folks. So we might as well get into the catch-up period here, and we'll jump into it. Last week, the Ice Dogs, we faced off against the Erie Otters. Myself and Brandon were at this game in attendance to catch it. So Ivan Lanya returned to the Ice Dogs. It was announced a couple days prior that the Minnesota Wild have lent him down to the OHL after his quick stint with the Minnesota Wild. So he's back with the Dogs. Unfortunately, he was scratched for that game. Erie Otters had former Ice Dog Daniel Springer in the lineup. So if anyone remembers Daniel Stinger. Springer. What am I talking about? I think I'm talking about the Springer. You guys know the meat sticks, the Springer meat sticks. Those things are the best. They're so good. But anyways, Daniel Singer is back in the lineup. Notable scratches for the Ice Dogs that game were Andrew Bruder and Anthony Augustinelli. It was a cold Thursday night. I remember myself and Brandon were freezing our socks off going walking to that arena. But the crowd attendance was slimmer than usual, being a Thursday night. Although it surprisingly got bigger at first, because at first it looked really slim. I'm like, okay, it's just, it's a normal Thursday. Not a lot of kids can catch it. Not a lot of families can get out to the game. But they did a good job. We had a total attendance of 4,590 in total, so that was surprisingly big attendance. So it was due to a lot of groups being there, so that kind of helped the attendance a lot. Maxime Golod was the leading scorer on the Otters. Going into that game, he had 14 points in 9 games, so a big start for him this year for the Erie Otters. Getting into the first period here, Otters took a bad tripping call a minute 20 into the game. Dogs on the power play. They had good pressure, but no dice. Seems to be kind of a little bit of a theme here with the Ice Dogs. There's sometimes they're clicking on the power play, sometimes they're not. So I'm sure they're going to be working on it throughout the season. Around the 14:39 mark, Dogs entered the zone. A couple of deflections in the slot. Sopa was able to pick up and buries his first goal of the game. Guy is seriously on fire this year, Kieran Sopa, as well as that whole line. I don't even have to tell you who assisted on this goal. You can already tell who, or one of the three, with which being Philip Tomasino or Oliver Castleman or Akil Thomas. These guys are definitely leading the team very well this year. The very next play, Thomas tries to break through the Erie defenseman. He drew a penalty, and the Dogs are off to another power play. But the Ice Dogs took their first penalty shortly after the game and went on the PK. Tynan was coming up with some good saves throughout that first period. In the beginning, he looked very, very good. Erie capitalizes and buries a tip-in goal by Chad Yetman to make it a 1-1 game. Mason Howard, I did want to point this out, throughout the period showing up with his physical play. He had 2 massive hits. And Mason Howard, with if you guys are following the Ice Dogs Twitter account, he's got the hippo emoji. Guy is living up to his emoji, ladies and gentlemen. Him hitting like a hippo out there and bringing the physical plays. What's definitely needed for the Dogs, they need a little bark to their bite, and that is Mason Howard. He is definitely living up to his emoji, I guess you can say, but showing us some physical play in that first period with 2 massive hits, so good for him for bringing that physicality and that boost to the Ice Dogs after that first period. It was a slow start to the second. Both teams were getting some offensive chances, no capitalization though. Tucker Tynan was making some big saves early on. The guy looks very, very good in the net. I definitely prefer him over Sparlia. Nothing against him, but I definitely prefer Tucker Tynan in net. It looks like they're riding both of them this year to see who they got for a leading role. Erie goalie Daniel Murphy was coming in clutch with 2 big 2-on-1 saves he came out with a big 2-on-1 save around the 10:35 mark. It was a very, very good save, so props to him. Mostly back and forth action for the rest of the period until it got down to the 6-minute mark of the second, where I think it was Jamie Drysdale. I think that's his first name. It's a J, I know that. But he is a top 10 candidate in next year's NHL draft. Very good defenseman. Long shot from the point from him goes top shelf, and it's a 2-1 Erie game. Very nice shot by Drysdale, so he's definitely living up to his expectations with that shot, that's for sure. Exactly a minute later, Ice Dog player blows a tire at center. This led to a 3-on-1 for the Erie Otters, and Hoffman from the Erie Otters puts the puck in the back of the net to make it a 3-1 Otters game. One of the assists by none other former Ice Dogs player, Daniel Singer. It's not looking good for the Dogs at this point of the game, down 3-1, and Erie kept on that pressure afterwards. Eventually, the Dogs got it back around 2 minutes left. Lucas Theriault, I can't pronounce his last name. You'll learn to when you're listening to us, folks. I am so illiterate with names, it's bad. So I apologize if I butcher a lot of names out there. And if any Ice Dog players going back and listen to this, I do apologize. But he buries a rebound off a scramble in front to make it a 3-2 game. So Ice Dogs getting back into it. Both teams pressuring hard in the last minute of the period. A couple of good scoring chances, but nothing prevailed from that. Into the third period, this was a big period for the Ice Dogs, only down by 1 goal, definitely bringing the heat. 3 minutes into the period, Akil is taking it into the zone, gets a big hit behind the net, but the puck finds its way out front. So he took a massive hit behind the net, it found its way out front, and D. Simone buries it to tie the game. So some secondary scoring there from the Ice Dogs again, which is really good. We definitely have to see that from a lot of the other players on the team. But he ties the game at 3. And at the 13:58 mark, face-off lost in the Dogs' end, and it went right to the wrong man at the point. It went right, you guessed it, to Drysdale's stick, and he goes bar down for Erie with a huge snipe, 4-3 for the Otters now. And man, this Drysdale kid looks very good and a very promising defenseman draft pick next year in the NHL draft. I can see why there were so many scouts at this game scouting him and him being projected as a top 10 pick. So if you are a NHL draft enthusiast, you're going to have to keep an eye out on Drysdale. He's definitely living up to that expectation. Tucker Tynan coming in clutch again this period with some much-needed saves. The kid looks strong in the net. I really like him, like I said. The Ice Dogs started to get sloppy in their own end, so he was definitely coming up with some big saves to help them out. With 5:57 left in the game, Erie was entering the zone in an odd man rush. And then Erie player McDougall buries a nice shot to put the Erie Otters up 5-3. This is a very tough break from the Dogs, especially with some big saves by Tucker Tynan. And then with 3:21 left in the game, the Dogs were forced to pull the goalie. Not too long after, Erie buries the empty net goal for the 6-3 lead. So that really much took everything out of the Ice Dogs. So, of course, with that much time left in the game, you know the rough stuff was coming. So some rough stuff with 2 minutes left. There's a big scrum in the corner. There's some obvious frustration from both teams. And with 30 seconds left on a 4-on-4, Erie scored it to make it 7-3 to add salt on that damn wound. And to make it even worse, it was Daniel Singer, the hometown kid, buries a goal for Erie to make it 7-3. Game ends tonight in a tough loss, 7-3 for the Erie Otters. 3 stars of the game were third star AJ Cook from the Niagara Ice Dogs, second star of the game Daniel Singer, and first star Jamie Drysdale. So interesting game by the Ice Dogs. Erie definitely had their number there on a lot of scoring chances that were given up by the Ice Dogs, a lot of turnovers. It was more like an offensive turnover kind of thing, which what I'm noticing is a pattern here with the Ice Dogs. There's a lot of offensive turnovers that are not going the right way, so definitely something they're going to have to work on as the season progresses. But Erie takes this one 7-3 in a tough home loss with that. We do have some post-game audio from head coach Billy Burke, so we'll get into that right now. It's about a 2-minute clip, so here is head coach Billy Burke after the post-game loss to Erie.
Clearly not a 7-3 game like it was. 3-3 early in the third period there. You had to be feeling pretty good at that point. You came back and tied it, right?
Yeah, I thought first was pretty good. There were long stretches in the second where I thought we were just, not a lot of jump, not a lot of, no physicality. And, then they get to the third period. Have a push to come back, but, then it just falls apart at the end on us. You just need to regroup, obviously, and finish strong. We're not good enough to force it and try and do it that way because it's going to turn into odd man's against and it's just going to make us pay.
Sure. So when you get down, what's the message? Just keep plugging away and doing what you're doing and not panic type thing?
Well, more shots was certainly after the second period. It's a 1-goal game. I thought, we could have been harder on the forecheck as a group. But again, one guy will go, the other guys will watch, opportunities to block shots, we get out of the way, So it's a lot of little things that add up. But, I thought if we could just do a better job handling the puck through the neutral zone, simplify, try to get some more shots and traffic at the net, then, maybe we'd have a chance to come back.
Sure. Seems one way or the other you're giving up too many goals, and you're not going to win with 6 and 7 goals. So is that just a whole complete team thing that you need to bear down on?
Oh, for sure. It's definitely a whole team thing. It's not the goalie, it's not the defense or anything. It's everyone playing. Five guys playing team defense. PK's got to dig our heels in a bit here. Get some stops for us. But no, it's going to be a process, and there's no easy out. There's no easy switch. So we got to make sure we just keep working, keep plugging away, and just try to clean it up and keep making steps.
Sure. One guy's had a nice game tonight was Mason Howard, particularly early on. And what does he mean to you? How big does he need to come up and play as a veteran guy back there?
Yeah, he's huge. He's a fearless shot blocker. He's a warrior. Plays hard. He really takes care of himself off the ice. He's he's having a real strong season. I wish a couple other guys would follow his lead with the heart that he shows on a nightly basis.
Sure.
Is it a good thing you're going to get back on the ice tomorrow night?
Oh yeah, it's always a good thing. It's always a good thing to get back at it and hopefully be a little bit better and just keep trying to claw out of it.
Sure. Can you say anything about Lodney?
Yeah. He's getting in tonight. Probably won't play tomorrow, but should be in on Saturday.
Okay. Great.
Thanks.
Thank you, buddy.
So there you go. You hear from head coach Billy Burke, as he said in the beginning of that. It's the giving away scoring chances is a big thing for the Ice Dog and the turnover. So it's something that he knows and something that I'm sure the team knows to have to work on. He also mentioned the thing about Mason Howard, and he wishes some of the other players would have a lot more heart like he does. So maybe that's another message he sent to the locker room with that one to show that, Mason Howard shows a lot of heart no matter what the score is. He's going out there and showing that he lives the Ice Dog way, and he's making those hits, and he's not afraid to be aggressive. So maybe that's another shot to the locker room to start picking up the aggressiveness and the pace of the game. So I'll have to thank Brandon for that clip from head coach Billy Burke. So that was the game against Erie on this 17th of October. They went on to face the Mississauga Steelheads, and it was in Mississauga. Excuse me, and it was on the 18th, so the very next night. So they had this was a three game stint here for the Ice Dogs. So you had to travel to Mississauga to face the Steelheads the very next night. The Ice Dogs ended up falling 3-2 to the Steelheads in that game. I only caught the highlight video. I didn't get to see the whole game. It's tough to get a recap of the OHL games, but from what I seen in the highlight video, Mississauga looked very good. Ice Dogs actually had a lot of chances but couldn't bury. There was a couple posts. There are a couple great saves by the goalie for the Mississauga Steelheads. It looks like goals by the Ice Dogs were from Captain Akil Thomas. Also, Sparley actually looked pretty good. I want to make note of that. From the saves they showed in the highlight package, he looked pretty good. So I'm glad that he's starting to wake up a little bit, because I think he's been a little weak in the net, and I think Tucker Tynes has shown that he's a little bit stronger. So I'm glad Sparley's starting to find his game. So Akil Thomas getting the one goal. Phil Tomasino also got another goal, and then I believe the third goal. No, we only got 2 goals. So it was Akil Thomas and Philip Tomasino getting the 2 goals for the Ice Dogs in the 3-2 loss to Mississauga. So tough break. Joe Ranger got the first star of the game. He was the goalie for Mississauga. Definitely held the Mississauga Steelheads in the game. So good for them. So the Steelheads also missed 3 empty net opportunities in that whole game as well for the end of the game. So Ice Dogs falling 3-2 to the Mississauga Steelheads in that game. And then the day after, it was the game I wasn't able to attend. It was a Saturday night game against the Guelph Storm this past Saturday. We were back home against Guelph. It was the 3 back-to-back game stint. There's a lot of that in the OHL. The Guelph Storm were the reigning OHL champions from last year. So, and this was returning to the lineup for his first game. This was Ivan Lodnia's first game, as you heard at the end of that Billy Burke clip that Ivan was just coming in. So this was his first game this last Saturday. The game again, I didn't get to go. I saw the highlight package. It was a very much of a gong show. The Ice Dogs won 5-4 in a shootout. All the goals by both teams look really good and pretty much unstoppable. Most of them. Tucker Tynan was in net for the Niagara Ice Dogs, and from what I got from Brandon, he still played pretty good and looked very strong in the net. This game ended up going to a shootout, and it was none other than Ivan Lodnia making his return to the Ice Dogs, scoring the shootout winner. Yeah, you can't storybook this, folks. But Ivan Lodnia getting the shootout winner, and he got the 3rd star of the game. Keen Sopa had 2 goals and an assist this game. He ended up getting 2nd star, and Mason Howard, the guy with the big heart and the hippo heart, I guess, gets 1st star of the game with 2 assists. So big win for the Niagara Ice Dogs at home in a shootout against the reigning OHL champions. So I imagine from what I got from Brandon that this was a tough game for the Dogs, but they battled to win in a shootout. So good for the Niagara Ice Dogs. I do have a clip. Brandon got a post-game clip from Billy Burke again. So this one's a little bit longer. It's about 7 minutes. So here is, and I'm pretty sure this is the one where Brandon had some questions that he asked Billy Burke. So here is Billy Burke after the 5-4 shootout win against Guelph on last Saturday.
All right, so just general thoughts on the game. Obviously happy with the result.
Yeah, good. Great fight from the guys to be down 2-0 and then never quit and come back and get a lead, lose a lead, get a lead, lose a lead. So it was some good things. I thought we were kind of sluggish to start, but it's just for us, just going to keep stressing, carving out an identity for us. And I think if we can have an identity of a straight lines, fast, hardworking team, then it's just going to help everybody.
How did you turn it around tonight?
We just kind of, had to put some things on the line, I think, after the first period. I mean, the guys have it in them. It's just with us, it's just mental focus. We just need to stay focused. When you're on the bench, know who you got, know what your job is, and then when you're on the ice, the puck's on your stick. In this league, you gotta getting it, behind their D is a good play. So just making sure we're all on the same page and that makes us good.
No Drew Hunter tonight. Mason Howard's your second oldest defenseman at the ripe age of, 18, I believe he is. First start of the game tonight. He's kind of a bit of a throwback. You don't see a lot of guys play the game like him. Had a couple points tonight. What did he do? Is this the best game you've seen him play in the OHL?
I think he's just, continued to get better every week here for us. Just an absolute warrior the way he blocks shots. Physical, he's legit tough. No, he's awesome. We need him. He's quickly become a second-year guy that we look at as a third, fourth, fifth-year guy. Part of the reason for our shot clock or our shot count is we are still timid in the D zone, and it's not easy to play forward, but it's easier to be a young forward than it is to be a young D-man. And when you have a whole bunch of them, you can get hemmed in, and guys don't want to make a mistake, and it's human nature to shrink inside. And, we got to be a little bit more aggressive in the D-zone. I think that'll bring our shots down a bit.
Kean Sopa played a depth role last year for the team. This year, he's playing anything but a depth role for you. What's he doing differently, to put up all these points this year?
He's got it. Some guys have it, some guys don't, and he has it in terms of goal scoring ability. A lot of guys would have that first goal, that shorthanded goal off the face-off, seeing eye shot, but a lot of guys would have put that into shin pads. But he's got a quick little release. He's a greasy goal scorer for sure. He's gritty, he competes hard. He's a hockey player. Just a good hockey player all around, and he's excellent hands. Just a great guy, great teammate.
Tucker Tynan's still very early in his OHL career, but he's making your decision a little bit, I guess, harder in a way to decide who's playing on a regular basis because, quite frankly, we thought Sobralia was going to be the guy for the majority of the games. Yeah,
to be honest, so did I. But there was an opportunity there. The door was left open a little bit for Tucker, and he took advantage of it. It was nice to see Christian play a strong game last night for us. But Tucker's he's a really, really good young goalie, and to have guys that you trust and you think you can win every night with them. That's it's huge. I was certainly if I was in net there with Gogolev coming down on me with 5 seconds going overtime, I can almost guarantee you it'd be in a goal skill level aside. But just that ice in the veins is what's most encouraging.
Obviously, Ladnia comes back tonight. Kind of a storybook game for him. Puts the winner home in the shootout. But it does present a bit of a challenge for you. You've got 4 OAs. You thought you had that problem taken care of last month with Paquette and Brady Johnson moving on. How do you juggle that?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's one of those things where, it wasn't in our plans, but we'll certainly take it. I thought Mods was a little rusty early, maybe trying to do too much, but settled in, played his game. He's probably our best player in the playoffs last year. He's the kind of guy you can lean on when things get rough out there. He's an all situations guy. He's an elite player here. We didn't think we'd have him back. We're thrilled to have him back, but on the flip side of things, obviously, there's 3 other guys in there that I care a lot about as people and as players, and just gonna have to figure it out and kind of take it day by day and see what happens.
You're alluding to some of your younger players, Dakota Betts and Lucas Terrio. They're rookies by definition, but they're older players. They've played a lot of hockey. What's going through your mind with those guys right now?
Terry's a guy, first with Terrio, he's a guy I can rely on. He's a strong centerman, good on face-offs, very smart. He does a lot of little things. Even his changes. He's just, you can tell he's an older guy. Even though it's his first year in the league, he had NCAA opportunities that he passed on to come play for us this year. And they're just very dependable. And what we've seen with Betsy so far is, put him up and forward. Can skate, big guy, he's gritty. We think he's going to be a real good defenseman for us. And AJ Cook's in that same boat as an 18-year-old, a guy who's played forward, played D. Thought he had a real strong game for us. So it really doesn't matter how old you are. It's a good league, but when these guys can just play smart and play like a little bit older, it's great. And so far I think those 3 guys, even though they're rookies, by definition or whatever, they're playing hard for us.
For a coach, is it easier to kind of transition those guys after playing in junior A?
Things happen fast, but certainly, they're more accustomed to the speed and the size of everything than, guys coming out of minor midget for sure. They played against older guys for, 2 or 3 years now. So, they can at least handle the physicality, but, there's no, tier 2 junior B league, in the world that's going to get you totally ready for what you're going to see here. But no, as long, these guys just do it the right way and, don't try to force things. And that's what keeps them in the lineup and keeps them playing regularly.
What was the strategy with going with the 5 forwards on the power play? I found that interesting, but what advantages or disadvantages did you feel that gave you?
Well, it's always going to look a little awkward with a forward up top, but again, I just wanted to put, our 5 top offensive guys out there. There was times where, I was probably thinking we should have Elijah back out there, but that was a little bit to be expected. Didn't want to panic or anything, kind of give these guys a little bit of an opportunity. Got a goal for us, almost had one there. Was so put the net front. So you're just trying to get 5 most skilled guys out there, and we'll give it a try. And if it works, great. If it's not working, then we'll change it up. But I'm not against trying stuff.
Okay. And lastly, what do you want to see from Lodnia back from the Wild? Obviously, up with the NHL team. What would you like to see from him this year besides just getting the high amount of points?
Well, he's back here to continue to round out his game. He can't change who he is. He's an excellent 200-foot player, so he needs to be an excellent 200-foot player here. He's a guy that has the ability to be a multi-point guy every night just because he's so smart and does it the right way. So, a huge goal for us in the game, and then to go out and get the shootout winner for us, it's kind of a little storybook, so it's a good way to end the weekend. But, it's a battle in those standings from kind of 6 to 10 there, so we're going to have to make sure, we're focused, practice hard, and, got to be better next weekend.
Thanks, Coach.
So there you have it. There's the a little bit of a long interview with Billy Burke after the 5-4 shootout win against the Guelph Storm last Saturday. Just some couple snippets from that. You can hear about the praise to Mason Howard and his game and how he had 2 points in that game, and shows that he shows up every night with his physicality and bringing it in the game every and he's not afraid to get into those aggressive situations. And that's a lot of praise from head coach Billy Burke, and being a second-year player, and you hear him talk about that as well. Also brought up the Tucker Tynan question was brought up about him getting some basically more starts than he was predicted to have, with Sparley being the goalie probably that was going to be the starting goalie going forward. So you hear them that there was opportunities there, and there's always going to be opportunities for a goalie to show up and prove himself. So it looks like we got a goalie battle going on with both goalies Sparley and Tucker Tynan, so we'll see what happens down the road. They also brought up Ivan Lodnia and him being a little rusty in the beginning, but he found his place in him getting the shootout winner, getting praise from head coach Billy Burke. Also, that he'd like to see him improve his 200-foot game. He's a fantastic 200-foot game player, and Billy Burke wanting to have him improve that aspect of his game. That's a good question there by Brandon. Brandon also brought up the fact that they were trying out a 5-man forward power play, which is insane to think about it. Like 5 forwards on 1 power play. Like, I usually know the some of the NHL format of like a 4 forward and 1 defense power play. There's like the quarterback back there. You have the umbrella going on, and then you have the 4 forwards. But doing a 5 forward power play is crazy. They tried it out, as you heard there from head coach Billy Burke, that they're going to be trying this out on a trial basis, and if it works, they'll keep doing it, as they got the 1 goal on Saturday in the 1 power play with the 5 forward power play. So we'll see what happens with that. He also got asked about Thierold Betts and about how their transition to the OHL has been. He's saying that giving them both praise, also giving praise to AJ Cooks, despite him being scratched a couple of times this season. So very interesting interview after the game. A lot of praise to a lot of players. So head coach Billy Burke definitely happy with that win on Saturday, as he should be. Looks like we're going to take a quick commercial break here, folks, and then we'll preview tonight's game against the Hamilton Bulldogs, the Halloween game for fans, and the rivalry game against the Hamilton Bulldogs. So we're going to take one commercial break here, and we'll be right back here in the Dog Pound Podcast and right here on the Armchair GM's Sports Network.
Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, serving Italian pizzas made with the freshest, top-quality ingredients. Loaded subs and our famous chicken wings, winners of the 2017 Reader's Choice Awards, and the brand-new recipients of the 2019 Reader's Choice Diamond Award from Niagara this week for Best Pizza in Niagara Falls. Open daily, located on the corner of Drummond Road and Dunn Street. Available for call-ahead pickup or delivery. 905-374-4400. Debit and credit accepted for both. You've tried the rest. It's time to try us. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano. Attention job seekers. If you're currently looking for work in the Niagara region, you owe it to yourself to check out the services provided by the Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Thoroldstone Road, Niagara Falls. Free services include resource area open to the public, resume and cover letter writing, community resource and referral information, local labor market information, job search strategies, assistance with clarifying employment training and career goals, employment counseling and job search support, second career information and registration assistance, and check out our available workshops under our events calendar on our website for more details at www.ehc.on.ca, the Niagara Employment Help Center. Marcel Dion Inc. Come in and check out our store and meet Marcel Dion himself. We have wall-to-wall NFL, MLB, and NHL licensed products and all kinds of collectibles. We specialize in autographed sports memorabilia. If you don't see what you're looking for, just ask and we'll find it for you. So next time you need a great gift idea for that sports fanatic in your life, or you need to add to your own collection, come visit us first. You won't be disappointed. 905-357-7678, Marcel Dion Inc. Chippin' Charlie's, it's where the locals go. Fun, friendly, and entertaining staff. You're not just a customer, you're family. Lots of TVs, amazing food, and always a great time. Open daily 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Call 905-371-3428 for inquiries and reservations. Located at 8189 Lundy's Lane, Niagara Falls. Chippin' Charlie's, it's where the locals go. Mid-City Motors Niagara, your premium source for pre-owned vehicles. Financing and leasing for all types of credit. Check them out at 4460 Drummond Road, Niagara Falls, or at mcmniagara.com. They are also happy to announce Mid-City Mechanic is now open. They can repair, maintain, and service all makes and models of vehicles. Conveniently located behind Mid-City Motors at Drummond Road and Perkins Street. They will be happy to help you keep your car on the road. 905-371-2277. That's Mid-City Motors and Mid-City Mechanic.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Welcome back, folks, to the Dog Pound Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Kyle. God, a little confused there. A little bit of a long day, folks, but excited for tonight's game. The K9 Challenge Cup, as they call it, between the Hamilton Bulldogs and your Niagara Ice Dogs. Here to preview the game tonight, your October 25th home game, folks. The Halloween game. For you fans out there, you can dress up with your favorite Halloween costume. Should be exciting. I won't be dressed up, though. You won't be seeing me in no Edward Scissorhands costume. Keep it professional here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. But here to preview the game, guys. Let's get into it against the Hamilton Bulldogs. First, just want to quickly look at the standings and see where the Ice Dogs are at. We are in third place in the Central Division. 4-5-2-1 record with a total of 11 points. 4 points behind the Barrie Colts for second place. Take a look where the Hamilton Bulldogs are. They are fourth place in the East Division. 5-6-1 with 11 points as well. They are 3 points behind the Ottawa 67s in third place. A little bit of an even matchup game, so it should be an exciting game tonight, folks. Friday night game should be a packed house and should be a fun game, especially the Halloween night for fans, so it should be fun and exciting for them. Let's take a look at the Ice Dogs statistics going into this game. Leading the Ice Dogs is with a whopping 23 points. We have Philip Tomasino in 12 games. 23 points, 9 goals, 14 assists. Kieran Soba, the leading goal scorer with 10 goals, 8 assists, 18 points in 12 games. And Akil Thomas in just 9 games, catching up with 13 points, 2 goals, 11 assists. And as you can obviously guess, number 4 in scoring, Oliver Castleman, 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points in 11 games. So you have your top people up there. I guess you can call them the big four, with Tomasino, Sopa, Thomas, and Castleman leading the way in scoring for your Niagara Ice Dogs. I imagine Ivan Lodmia will soon catch up to them as he continues his play in this season. We'll see him again tonight for the Ice Dogs. As for the two goalies, we have 10 games played by Tucker Tynan and Sparta with only 4, so it kind of looks like they're leaning more towards Tucker Tynan. I haven't been told the starting lineup yet, so I'll be sure to update that on the Twitter page, guys. Make sure you're following the Twitter page at Dog Pound Podcast to see all updates for the Niagara Ice Dogs. Any Ice Dog news I retweet, and anything with the podcast is related, it'll be posted on there as well. With 10 games, Tucker Tynan is 4-3-2-1. Sparta is an ugly record. In 4 games, he has 2 losses with being pulled and 2 other games. So, as for goals against average, Tucker Tynan is rocking a 3.62. Zabaria is rocking a 4.23. Tucker Tynan is above that 900 mark for save percentage at .920, which is fantastic. Zabaria, on the other hand, just below the line, .899 save percentage. So we'll see who the Ice Dogs are going to rock with tonight for the K9 Challenge Cup game. I imagine that we're going to be going with Tucker Tynan, I hope. So we'll see what happens tonight. Ice Dogs are back in the Meridian Center on November 1st and November 2nd next week for their games against the Ottawa 67s and a rematch against the Mississauga Steelheads. Both 7 p.m. games, just like tonight, Eastern Time, doors opening at 6 p.m. So let's preview tonight's game, folks. Should be an awesome one against the Hamilton Bulldogs. I'm very excited for this one. Again, the K9 Challenge Cup series that we have against this team with the basically our rivalry going with this. Basically, it's called the QEW rivalry. I'm pretty sure that's what they call it against the Bulldogs. After an exciting shootout win last Saturday against the Guelph Storm, the Dogs are looking to continue collecting points during their another 3-game weekend starting tonight, and they're on the road for the next 2 games this weekend. Arthur Kaliev is leading the Bulldogs on their team with 14 goals, 25 points in 12 games, so he will be a player to watch tonight, and the players Ice Dog will be watching tonight. That point total is good enough to have him second in the OHL in scoring, so definitely a dangerous player against the Dogs tonight. The Ice Dogs will be looking to stop a 9-game point streak that extends almost a month with that player. Akil Thomas is a fellow draft pick along with Kaliev of the LA Kings. They'll have to put their different business differences aside against for this OHL rivalry matchup. Ivan Lania is back with the Ice Dogs. He made his presence known last Saturday, so it'll be definitely making an impact for tonight's game. So after you get your ticket, I guess, for tonight's game, folks, grab your Halloween costume, get ready to cheer, and don't forget to show off your costume during the first intermission parade. So it'll be a first intermission parade, a Halloween parade. So show off your costumes, whatever you like to dress as. A ghost, you can be that creepy, spooky ghost. There's a sheet with cutout eyes. You know, that's a costume. A little cheap and tacky, but I'm sure there'll be some crazy people out there. You can head on over to Value Village. They have some crazy costumes you can pick out there, so can't wait to see what goes on tonight in this Halloween costume parade in the first period. This game, again, is a part of the K9 Cup presented by News Talk 610, CKTB, and TSN 150. This is the 3rd year that the Ice Dogs and Bulldogs play one another. The losing team of the season series will donate to Pet Rescue Organization of the winning's team choice. So it's a really cool concept they have with this cup. Tickets are as low as $15 a person tonight, guys. Can be purchased online or in person at the Meridian Center box office, or the Penn Center Customer Service box office, the Seaway Mall Customer Service box office, or by calling Ice Dogs Meridian Center offices at 905-687-3641. So I'm excited to see how the Ice Dogs show up against the Hamilton Bulldogs tonight with the return of Ivan Lodnia. Looking at the game page right now, this is hilarious. So whoever does Rebecca Hogan, that was that pregame article, so props to her. But the picture they usually have 2 players in the picture, but they have Ivan Lodnia twice. Not sure if that was on purpose or not, but excited to see tonight's game, guys. I'll be there live. I'll be there tweeting on the Dog Pound podcast and getting the game notes for the next podcast for here, the Dog Pound podcast. So I have a little bit of news surrounding the Ice Dogs we'll get into right now. Got a little bit of news signing with Phil Tomasino. About 4 days ago, Phil Tomasino officially signed his NHL entry-level contract with the Nashville Predators. They like what they see, as me and Cappy are told, or Brandon are told, that he is very loved by the Nashville Predators. So Nashville Predators announced that they signed 2019 first-round selection Philip Tomasino to a 3-year entry-level contract. He was drafted 24th overall in the 2019 this past draft for the NHL. He's the 6-foot, 180-pound forward, attended the Predators development camp. Following the draft, Tomasino was invited into training camp, got into the preseason action in September before being returned to the Ice Dogs prior to the beginning of this OHL season. Mississauga native is currently in his third season with the Ice Dogs and is on pace for a career year. He is the first in team scoring with 23 points as they went on before. He is also named alternate captain as well of the Niagara Ice Dogs. He has appeared in international stage twice in his junior career, representing Canada at the 2017 Under-17 Hockey Challenge, the 2019 Under-18 World Championships as well. He was invited to participate in Hockey Canada's Summer Development Camp in preparation for the 2020 World Junior Hockey Championship, and recently named to the roster of both Ontario games for the 2020 CIBC Canada Rusher Series. So the resume just keeps building for Phil Tomasino, as now he is officially signed to the NHL and now has started his entry-level contract with the Nashville Predators. So congratulations to Philip Tomasino. Got some other news here, guys. The Pink in the Ring jersey dedication is now available. Help us honor. I'm going to read the article here for you guys. Help us honor those who fought or are continuing to fight. On January 31st, 2020, the Ice Dogs will be hosting our annual Pink in the Rink game. To commemorate the game, they'll be wearing a specialty pink jerseys. Will be auctioned live post game to raise funds for the Canadian Cancer Society Niagara branch. New this season, we are offering the opportunity to honor your loved ones who have fought or continue to fight violently against the disease and that affects so many. Fans can make a donation for a dedicated name placed on our specialty pink jerseys. The name will be included on each worn jersey by the Niagara Ice Dogs who play against the Barrie Colts on January 31st. For a name dedication, we ask for a donation of $25. For a $50 donation, fans will receive a name dedication and a replica t-shirt of our jersey. Limited spots are available. Deadline for submission is November 22nd, 2019. You can actually go over to the Ice Dogs website to fill it out and fill up the form to submit. So, really awesome thing they're doing this year with the Pink in the Rink game. I love that they're adding the names to the jersey, and they'll be written in fine print all over the jersey, which is really, really cool, and it goes to a fantastic and obviously amazing cause. So, guys, you guys have someone or you know someone and you want to dedicate their name to the jersey, you can do so on the website. It's a really good cause. Donate anyways to the Canadian Cancer Society and the Niagara branch as well. So the Pink in the Ring game, January 31st, 2020. So, other than that, not really much Ice Dog news, folks. It's going to be an exciting game tonight, like I said. I'm excited to get down there for the game later tonight. Again, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Dog Pound Podcast to keep up to date with the podcast and the Niagara Ice Dogs. Other than that, we have one last segment to do of this show is where we go over past Ice Dogs and check out how their NHL career is going, kind of give you a small update on what they're up to. So we're going to take one more commercial break before we get there, guys. So we'll be right back here on the Dog Pound Podcast and the Armchair GMs Sports Network.
The Blue Line Diner is Niagara's leading breakfast restaurant. Great food, great service, and where else can you see one of the NHL's greatest players having coffee and conversation with patrons? Of course, Marcel Dion Inc. is located directly next door, and Marcel is always in and out of the restaurant, talking to the kids and the fans that walk through the doors. Open Tuesday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. 289-296-8785, the Blue Line Diner, located on Montrose Road, Niagara Falls. Simply Fit Health Club, real 24-hour access, 7 days a week. Located at 6595 Drummond Road, Niagara Falls. A clean, modern facility with top-of-the-line equipment, a friendly and non-judgmental environment, free Wi-Fi, ample parking, and more. Come in and tour their facility anytime during their office hours. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, Saturday 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Don't hesitate to stop in. No appointment necessary. They take pride in helping their members reach their health and fitness goals at their convenience and for the best possible price. For only $9.99 bi-weekly, members will get access to the state-of-the-art facility any day, anytime. What are you waiting for? At Simply Fit, there are no excuses, only results. Come see for yourself, 289-296-9535 or info at simplyfithealthclub.com. Simply Fit Health Club. Mick and Angelo's, Niagara Falls' premier sports kitchen and bar. We're all about food, friends, and fun. Catch the game with us and grab a delicious bite to eat while enjoying a cold beer. Bus trips to sporting events, live music performances, and sports pools throughout the year. Open daily 11 a.m. to midnight and 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Mick and Angelo's, Niagara Falls' premier sports kitchen and bar. Canadian Wrestling Figure Store. Check out their website at cwf.ecwid.com for the best selection in Canada for WWE Elites, Basics, and exclusive action figures. Free Canada-wide shipping on any order over $200. Enter the code ARMCHAIR at checkout so they know that we sent you to receive 10% off your order. Once again, that's Canadian Wrestling Figure Store at cwf.ecwid.com. Attention employers! Finding the right candidate to meet your hiring needs requires more than just posting an advertisement and waiting for a suitable candidate to apply. Let the Niagara Employment Help Center save you valuable time and money by making your hiring process easier. Free job postings, fill job vacancies quickly and efficiently, access to a bank of potential employees, reduce employment costs, all candidates will be pre-screened, job trials and placement incentives, and financial assistance may be applicable to offset the cost of training. Again, this Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Thoroldstone Road, Niagara Falls. www.ehc.on.ca.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Just a kid from the neighborhood. We're all kids from a neighborhood. Take me back to 96. I fall asleep with the radio on. Follow me like a firefly. At midnight in mid-July. Mixing blood and sweat and tears of joy. That's what I call the rally cry. Relentless.
How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the Dog Pound Podcast with your last segment of the day. Where are they now kind of segment with the former Niagara Ice Dog players and how are they doing in the NHL today. Not really much with some of the Ice Dog players. Just going to quickly go over a few. We'll start off, I might as well start off with the defending champs, the St. Louis Blues. We got two former Niagara Ice Dog players on this team in Alex Pietrangelo and Vince Dunn. Alex Pietrangelo this year so far has 6 points, 4 goals, and 2 assists. He's a -2 with only 2 penalty minutes. He actually scored his 4th goal in a 5-2 win over the Los Angeles Kings this past Thursday night. So yesterday, actually. He scored in the power play, the 10-16 mark of the second period. So he's off to a not too bad of a start this year. So not bad for Alex Pietrangelo. He's keeping up with his shots on goal fantasy-wise if you have him on fantasy, which I do. And he's getting almost a point per game. So good on for Alex Pietrangelo, the captain of the St. Louis Blues. And we'll check out on the other player, and that's Vince Dunn. He's off to a not bad of a start either. 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists with the St. Louis Blues this year. Not too bad in the shots on goal category. He was off to a hot start, kind of a slow down in the past couple of nights. But one thing that came out, I guess he's revealed that he needed about maybe 4 or 5 surgeries after he took a puck in the face in Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals last year. This note says that Dunn suffered a broken jaw and needed some dental work last year. He missed 6 games before he returned to Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. Dunn had to have other procedures done over the summer to continue to fix the problem. He quotes, "Yeah, it was just kind of a waiting game, waiting for things to heal and be able to do other things. So it was just a matter of time before everything was fixed. And finally, it's done now. It's been a lot better since the past couple of months. All the surgeries and dental work are done now." Dunn has been paired with Alex Pietrangelo so far in camp, so 2 former Niagara Ice Dogs paired together. And he played with Colton Parayko in Wednesday in preseason action during the preseason. This note was actually from the preseason, so I just decided to read that. But so far, he's off to a decent start with 4 points this year, 2 goals, 2 assists. Other former Ice Dogs, want to make note here, Joshua Ho-Sang. Things just go from worse to worse with this guy, man. I'm not sure what's going to go on with him, but back on October 3rd, he did request a trade. Nothing's come out of it just yet. For right now, he's still going to rot in the AHL. It's a shame because there's a lot of promise with him. I think it's more of like an attitude thing, so we'll see what happens with Joshua Ho-Sang going forward. We'll keep you guys updated with that in this segment of the show. Dougie Hamilton for the Carolina Hurricanes, off to a great start. 6 goals, 5 assists for the former Niagara Ice Dog, Dougie Hamilton. He's been on fire for the Carolina Hurricanes. They are off to a huge start as well. So he's been pretty good for them. He's been probably one of their shining defensemen. So he's having a very good year for the Carolina Hurricanes. Ryan Strome on the New York Rangers, decent start. I mean, Rangers are rebuilding teams, so we'll have to keep that in mind. But 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points so far this year. He's been pretty evened out for all the rest of the games. No other news on him. But he's looking to have a bounce back from a slow start to his campaign this year. Jamie Alexiak on the Dallas Stars, 3 points this year only. Apparently he's played well on the third pairing so far. Coach Jim Montgomery says he's been really good, taking time away and space, so he's using his body more to break up the plays and breaking pucks out as well. He's been very good leading the rush. So Jamie Alexiak having a decent start to his year with the Dallas Stars. Brett Ritchie on the Boston Bruins. I knew about that because he had the game-winning goal against my Toronto Maple Leafs last Tuesday night. So former Ice Dog. A dagger into my favorite NHL team, so good for him. He's 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points this year. And last but not least, it's interesting. This is interesting. So I was forwarded something by Brandon right before the show, and it was due to Brandon Perlini's had a very shaky start to the start of the NHL season. He's had no points, no goals, no assists, and he's been scratched a ton of times the last couple of games. People are wondering what's going on. He had a really good end to last year. It looked like he was clicking well with some of the other guys. And then right before I recorded the show here, I was forwarded this by Brandon. He said the Chicago Blackhawks have given forward Brandon Perlini's agent permission to speak with other teams in hopes of finding a trading partner. Perlini has been scratched in all but 1 game this season. So it looks like the Blackhawks are ready to move on from Brandon Perlini, maybe something they didn't like to see in camp or whatnot. But Brandon Perlini probably going to have a new home in the NHL going forward, and we'll keep up with that with this segment of the show. All right, that, folks, is going to probably wrap it up for today's podcast and ending segment there. I'm excited for the game tonight against the Hamilton Bulldogs. Excited to get that, go to see that, and excited to see all the Halloween costumes for you fans out there. But, folks, this is probably going to wrap it up today for this week's episode of the Dog Pound Podcast, your October 25th edition of this podcast, right here on the Armchair GMs Sports Network, your source for our North American sports coverage by sports fans for sports fans. Delivered to you right here in the Niagara region. Again, you can follow the podcast on Twitter at Dog Pound Podcast. You can follow myself at JustKyle51. You can follow the network on Twitter at Armchair GM Pod. Also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Armchair GMs Network. That is where everything is posted, if you guys could like that as well. You can listen to this live on Spreaker app whenever we are live, or on Spreaker.com/ArmchairGMs, or listen on demand on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, and Podcast Addict. I'm your host, as always, of this podcast, Kyle. Not joined by Brandon today. Hopefully he'll be back on the next show, and we'll see you guys next time. And for tonight's game, go Dogs go.
We don't walk alone.